Okay, folks, and welcome back to another wonderful edition of Opali Presents Know Your Pros. Today's guest, we have Chris Vultaggio of J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling, based out of Temecula. Here, they are a veteran, family-owned, and operated junk hauling business. Of course, they serve Murrieta as well and go as far south as Corona. And if you've got junk at your home or your business, you got to call the dog. That's the J-Dog. But this is Chris Vultaggio. Chris, thank you so much for being a guest here, my man.
Oh, thank you, Henry, for having me on. This is, very much appreciated.
Chris, of course, dude, I when I first asked you to be a guest, I didn't know much about your franchise that you operated. All I knew was that you were in the business of hauling junk, demolishing things, taking problems away from business owners and homeowners, or really anybody who's got a mess. But there's a deeper bit to JDog, the franchise that you operate. I want to get into all of that here in a moment, but I wanted to start here before that and get into your why of why you decided to start this business initially. Give us a little taste of where you came from and what led to this moment of you operating this franchise at JDog.
I grew up with my father being in the Marine Corps. He was a retired master sergeant after 23 years. And so the military and the lifestyle was just instilled in me as early as I can remember. So fast forwarding to, about 5 years ago, I was just looking for, a part-time job, and the J Dog out of North San Diego had put a post up on Facebook looking to hire some employees. So I applied, and being a dependent, he decided to hire me, and I just started moving up through the ranks pretty quick, and decided to buy into the franchise. As a family member, we were given that opportunity to continue doing what J Dog's missions are, um, and what I truly believe in from growing up with the Marine Corps. Um, and one of our biggest goals is to get our veteran unemployment rate down under 3% nationwide. So it is very big on veteran status, helping veteran communities, other veteran small businesses. Um, so that's why I decided to get involved the way I did, is because I believe in helping out our veteran community.
Well, so I think that's really important to kind of stop and note here. We talked at the top here about how, your business, at least, here in Temecula, but the franchise altogether is veteran family owned and operated. It's open to vets, active duty members, and their immediate families. And a lot of people, when they think about having a problem like having junk or needing demolition or getting something hauled away, the businesses out there are kind of a dime a dozen, right? You can call really anybody who pops up on that Google listing. But the fact is, if you've got, an idea about what you want to support through your business, or purchases or services that you're out there looking for, JDog is the one that you're going to want to call if you're looking to help out against the issue of veteran unemployment or veteran family unemployment. This franchise and what you operate in Temecula here, Chris, is really fighting against that issue and giving folks, a chance to, like you said, contribute to the community in a really meaningful way. And I think that's fantastic. So that kind of begets the second question, which is really easy for you to answer, which is, hey, why the industry of junk? I know we've got this philosophical, philanthropic almost meaning behind you operating this franchise, but beyond having that be really attractive, what's the attraction to junk here, Chris? I mean, like, it's a really unsexy business, and how are you making it interesting to your employees, yourself, and the community at large?
For me, it's just more of the way I am. I love helping people out, and it doesn't matter if I'm just removing their junk, because it's one person's junk and someone else's possible treasure. Um, so we have to go through things, and I look at what I can possibly donate, recycle, repurpose. And by doing that, it keeps between 60 and 80% of everything I take from going to the landfill. And it just makes our environment a lot healthier. Um, and speaking of healthy, it lets my customers become a little bit healthier, when it comes to having to declutter, have all this extra stuff just lying around and having anxiety about how they're going to get rid of it, how to dispose of things the right way.
Mm.
Well, here at JDog, we do that for you, and it takes that stress and gives you that sense of relief. Um, we are very compassionate when it comes to certain situations where there is a death in the family and you're having to clean out an apartment or a house. I take it to heart. After I lost my dad 5 years ago, that is something I share with my clients to give them a little sense of ease, um, that I'm not trying to just push something on them. Um, and I can relate. So having that compassion in any situation is where I come involved with knowing what I'm doing, how to deal with different types of situations and customer clientels that I get on a daily basis.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think that's so important to point out, not only the fact that you've got that sensitivity when maybe somebody's dealing with that sense with a death in the family, but just the idea that I'm kind of gonna go ham-fisted on this here for a sec, but people say that you should dress for the job that you want, right? And with the space that you maintain, you want to have a clear space for a clear mind. And I think that health is so important to bring up, especially in junk removal, junk hauling. And it keeps stuff too out of the landfill. I mean, you're recycling, like you said, you're repurposing. There's so many pros to dealing with your franchise specifically. I don't know a lot of junk haulers who are going to just make sure that everything is finding its right place, but then also one that supports its community and its veterans the way that yours does. So that's a slam dunk right there in my mind. Last thing here for you, Chris, I want to understand what that J-Dog difference is to you, why people should call you beyond this landfill bit that I'm talking about, keeping things out of the landfill, or this veteran bit. What do they get from dealing with you, Chris Vultaggio?
They get the best price possible. They get the customer satisfaction. Um, when we do a job, we just don't do it and leave. We sweep up, we'll rake up the yard where we take stuff. So we clean up after ourselves and we make everything look better than it did before we got there. So you couldn't tell that they had a pile of trash on the side of the house or in their garage. And we just give that sense of pride in what we do to our clients, saying, hey, this is the company to hire again. They mean business when they say that they're going to do something, we get it done. And when I take stuff to donations, I just don't drop it off. I take the time and I get the donation slip in my client's name and I send that to them,
Mm.
regardless if they want to use that for a tax write off or not. That's for them because that was their stuff, not mine. Even though I take possession in it and it is technically mine, I don't take the credit for it. I give that back to my clients. That's where we stand out differently than most other junk companies out here.
That's really incredible. I didn't realize that that was part of what you did, not just taking things away, but making sure that they get that tax write-off when you deliver something, if you're dropping it off at a donation center. So, three parts here. Veteran, family owned. We've got, giving back to the community. We've got keeping stuff out of the landfill, and delivering these donation slips back to the customer. I mean, like, the pride bit, I think, though, is going to be the most important. Cleaning up after yourselves, delivering a quality service to your customer base. All things that you can count on when calling J-Dog Junk Removal and hauling here in Temecula. It's fantastic, Chris. I don't understand why anybody would want to call any other junk removal business. You guys are the ticket. So for folks out there who are watching this video, or maybe somebody who's just met Chris here on Know Your Pros, Chris, can you tell them how you'd like to be contacted, how they can get in touch with you should they have an issue that you can take care of?
Yes, they can contact me through our website at jdogtemecula.com and do a online inquiry, which will get sent over to me for a free no obligation quote. Or you can contact me locally direct at 951-894-9601.
Great. And folks, of course, everything down in the description where it always is to get in touch with Chris. I encourage you to give him a call. It's the number that's on his Google listing. It's 951-894-9601. The guy's got great reviews across Google. He's got them on Facebook, and I believe you've also got a few across Yelp, which is fantastic, man. So folks, the families, the businesses, the folks who have dealt with Chris Vultaggio over at J-Dog, they speak for themselves. Let's have you go out there and give him a call should you need anything in his wheelhouse. But Chris, I can't thank you enough, man. Thank you so much for coming on here today on Know Your Pros.
Thank you, and it was my pleasure.
Know Your Pros!